Berlin. City of history, art, music, donuts, and right now, the largest poker tour in the world. The great and good of the poker world are gathering with single-minded intent. Viktor Blom is looking to take down his first main event, while 2008 PCA champion ElkY and EPT 7 Snowfest winner Vladimir Geshkenbein rather fancy another. Welcome to day 2 of the PokerStars.com European Poker Tour from Berlin. A new day dawns on the city of Berlin and the poker faithful who flocked here. 745 players entered, creating a staggering prize pool of more than 3.7 million euros. A top prize of 825,000 euros. Now the survivors from day 1A and 1B come together to leave 329 hopefuls vying for the top spot. Last time, we saw some of our biggest names leave early, as Eugene Kachelov and Jonathan Duhamel both bit the dust, as did French hopeful Fabrice Soulier. The bigger surprise was the shadowy figure of Cengiz Aluzu, whose unorthodox style earned him a place at the top of the chip tree for day 2. Now the dust has settled, we still have a very impressive array of past champions looking for that elusive second title, and a whole host of pros eager to add a main event to their long list of achievements.
Winning an EPT would be amazing. No Spaniard has ever won an EPT yet either, so that would be great.
So as day 2 begins and we move towards the money, it's time for each player to make his or her mark, to take the tournament head on and show the world why they should be champion. On our feature table, the French pro ElkY, winner of the PCA back in Season 4, is looking for another victory here in Berlin. But he's going to have to do some work to build up his stack.
I'm really ready to hit again and get the double. Be the first one to win a second EPT is definitely been my goal, so I'll try to do that here.
And the smouldering Swede, Viktor Blom, who took down this year's super high roller at the PCA, is desperate to dominate. On our secondary feature table, Vladimir Geshkenbein, the Snowfest champion from EPT 7. He really wants another trophy.
Winning an EPT in Europe, that is definitely the most prestigious thing to do.
And Magic Man Jan Heitman is still chasing that elusive first title. So it's all to play for as battle commences. 9 players seated around our feature table. I have to say, we are spoiling you with the combination of ElkY and Isildur.
That's right, Viktor Blom is at our feature table. You're welcome, unnamed internet poker forum. ElkY hasn't won an EPT since Season 4. That seems nearly impossible. I know he wants the double with a Seekness.
Well, this feature table is dominated by Germans and Scandies. I kind of feel sorry for ElkY, one of the shorter stacks, and Viktor's got position on him.
I do not feel sorry for ElkY in any way. The guy's a Beschnefly billionaire. Let's get restarted and ha!
Blind 600, 1200 with a 200 ante. Action's been folded to ElkY. He raises an early position from under the gun +2. He makes it 2.5K with Jack-9 suited.
There's the ElkY we know and love, wasting no time. Fearless.
Action folded around to the button. Nice beard.
Agreed.
Felix Schulze in the small blind has ace-queen.
3-betting is optional here out of position. More of an option against ElkY since he raises so wide. You can just call and let him fire away and rep your hand.
Schulze makes the call. Dan Murario in the big blind. Will pass, heads up to the flop.
ElkY the slight dog, but he's drawing quite live.
ElkY hits second pair, Schulze in the lead with top pair.
Schulze's pair is totes better. ElkY's hand is going to be good a fair percentage of the time.
Schulze has checked to him. ElkY checks behind, no c-bet.
Checking for pot control.
3 of spades on the turn. Schulze going for chips.
36.
I'm betting 3,600.
ElkY checked the flop for pot control, and Schulze would likely take a stab at this turn with nothing or even a smaller pair than ElkY's got, so I assume ElkY's going to call at least one bet here.
He does call.
ElkY obviously hoping Schulze just shuts down on the river. He can get a cheap showdown.
King of diamonds on the river.
Schulze still with the best hand.
And it doesn't look like he's shutting down either.
95.
He bets again, 9,500.
It's a pretty big river bet. I'd be mighty surprised if ElkY looked him up. Sure, he could be bluffing, but more often than not, he's going to have a jack beat here.
ElkY lets it go.
Totes standard, and by standard, I mean well played by both parties. Wish I had something to make fun of, but I don't.
Schulze looking for another deep run in Berlin. He came 60th in last year's event. Not a great start to the day for ElkY.
And with ElkY's stack, he could not really afford to have a bad start to today.
Well, from one previous EPT winner to another, on our secondary feature table, we find Vladimir Geshkenbein.
Gotta admire the confidence. You gotta believe it first. Just ask Phil Hellmuth Jr.
Other previous champs in the field include Anton Wig, who took down Copenhagen in Season 6. We've got a winner from earlier this season, Deauville champion Vadim Kurzovic. And of course, he came third here in Berlin last season. There's London winner David Van Plu.
Are you sure he didn't win EPT Hogwarts? Sorry, Dave, had to do it.
Fellow Brit Jake Cody, who won Deauville in Season 6. Here's the man who won Berlin 2 seasons ago, Kevin McPhee.
That's Officer McPhee to you.
And there's Lucien Cohen.
Hardly recognize him without his rat. Oh, there it is.
Back to our secondary feature table where Geshkenbein is facing a 3-bet from Rhys Jones.
Geshkenbein not one to often back down.
Rhys came 15th in UK IPT Dublin last year. He's just been 4-bet. Geshkenbein makes it 15K total. And Jones 5 bets to 26,200.
Used to be when this happened, both guys had aces. Now it's probably like ace, jack, and 8 tray.
Not gonna fold, eh?
What if he was just like, yeah, probably. No, he's not folding.
Geshkenbein waits for a better spot.
Nice hand, Dr. Jones.
Rhys Jones may have taken that one from Geshkenbein, but Vladimir still had a good start to day 2, and he's taken the tournament chip lead, sitting at the top of the leaderboard with 255,000, which means Cengiz Aluzu is on the way down.
Ah, you don't say.
David Iketai and Mark Wright also having a good start to day 2. Average stack now around 44 big blinds. More action from our secondary feature table. Jan Heitman against Sam Cohen. Heitman checks the turn. Sam checks behind. 9 on the river.
And 9 doesn't really make any draws that weren't already there, so it's probably not all that consequential.
29,000 in the middle, and Jan Heitman moves all in for 30K.
How much is it?
I can tell you from day one that Cohen occasionally tends to overvalue her hands.
She makes the call. Heitman shows kings. Sam will try to muck, but the rule is, in all-in confrontations, both hands must be shown. Cohen had jacks.
Really tough spot for jacks. Not much there on the board to help her out.
Let's head out into the field, where we find Boris Becker on one of our outer tables, facing an all-in from Enrico Rudelitz, who's actually put Boris all in, and Boris makes the call. Boris shows Jack 10 suited. Rudelitz has got pocket 10s.
Not a stellar hand to call an all-in with, but when you do, you're hoping to be at least drawing live. Boris, unfortunately, does not have the advantage in this case.
And because of the diamond draw, he only has 2 outs. He doesn't hit.
Over. Have fun, guys.
So Boris Becker eliminated from EPT Berlin.
Boris does seem to be a super nice guy. I mean, look, he said good game. He's walking away quietly, not even making a racket. Yes.
I thought we got all of those out of the way at the PCA.
One more for the road.
Back to our feature table, where ElkY's raising it up with King Jack offsuit from under the gun +1. Pocket 7s for Bobby Milkovich.
Yeah, Bobby. 7s are a solid starting hand, but no reason to get too crazy here.
Call.
He makes the call. Action folded around to Felix Schulze on the button. He gives up the king 8. Looks like both blinds have folded, so we're going heads up to the flop, which is queen 10-8 with 2 hearts. ElkY's a statistical favorite. Up and down straight draw, backdoor flush draw, an overcard to the board. ElkY still in front right now, though, with the 7s.
ElkY semi-bluffing, building a pot.
How much?
ElkY with an underpair to the board.
He's turning it into a bluff, raising to 6,500.
It's actually understandable. There are almost no good cards that can come for him on the turn. ElkY may be noticing the bet sizing here. If ElkY had a hand he was in love with, he probably would have raised more, hoping to get it in.
ElkY re-raising. It's a 3-bet to 13,300.
ElkY knows that he's got no fold equity against most hands in this spot, so for him to be raising, he's putting ElkY on the exact move he's making. Pretty solid read.
ElkY raising again. Maybe he isn't turning his hand into a bluff. Maybe he thinks 7s are really good here.
25.
They are technically good, but much like male frontal nudity, this raise makes me uncomfortable. At best, ElkY semi-bluffing. Worst case, he's got 7s beat. Also, look at all the money in the pot.
ElkY's all in.
It'd be easier to get a roadmap to fold.
How much is it?
There's only one definite mistake left to be made in this hand, and that would be folding. You gotta call, brah. You're getting 10-1.
Call.
He does make the call, putting ElkY at risk, although ElkY is 56% favorite here to get the double up.
ElkY got his money in good, if not the favorite.
Hit the horse. Do so far will be sick. Hit the horse.
Poker humor. ElkY does need to get lucky and hit, or statistically not get unlucky enough to not hit. Boom.
He's got 13 outs, aces, kings, jacks, and 9s.
He's smiling because he knows it's coming.
Boom.
It's not coming. The 7s hold.
And he is out of here. I think I see smoke coming off of him.
Yeah, I moest call am Ende. I had to call on the end, so I put him nothing, but yeah.
Easy to put ElkY on air. And in the end, he was right. Guess ElkY's not getting the double.
Oh, crazy.
So we've lost ElkY, but we've still got Isildur on the feature table here at EPT Berlin. Welcome back to the European Poker Tour in historic Berlin. A history that both Boris Becker and ElkY have been consigned to.
I think I got really unlucky because the guy he wasn't used to live poker, I guess, so he didn't really know the stack sizes, and he kind of made a move without knowing that he would have to call with under pair of 7 on the board.
Bazadar will win this pot.
So it was kind of unlucky, but there's a lot of side events in here in Berlin, fortunately, so I'm going to play the 2000 side event today, and then I will play the high water in the next few days also, yeah.
But there are plenty of players out there who aren't interested in the past. They're looking to make their mark on the future, like young guns Viktor Blom and Felix Schulze. They're on the feature table and out for glory.
I loved Out for Glory. That was Steven Seagal, right?
He must be so grateful that Jean-Claude Van Damme occasionally says no. Viktor Blom under the gun +1, raising to 2.5K with Queen 9 suited.
Apparently it's totally cool to raise this under the gun +1. I had no idea.
King 6 of diamonds on the button for Felix Schulze.
If Queen 9 suited is cool from early, then this must be super cool from the button.
He's 3-betting, makes it 5,900 total. Small blind not interested. Big blind gets out of the way, it's back on Viktor.
Now, we know what you're supposed to do with Queen 9 in this spot, but I'm sure Viktor's going to do something sick for all you kiddies at home.
He calls.
Apparently 2 massive stacks make these guys want to cannibalize each other worse than a plane crash in the Andes.
Well, the flop gives Viktor a flush draw.
Huge flop for Blom. Checks to the razor. We could see a check raise from him.
Schulze does not continue, he checks behind.
Surprising in a 3-bet pot. He must think Viktor's range is super strong.
Queen on the turn gives Viktor a pair to go with that draw.
Certainly a spot you want to bet when you pick up equity.
Makes it 12,600.
And after giving up the lead on the flop, I don't think Schulze can rep much here. And even if he did, there's no way Viktor would fold.
Schulze gives it up. So Viktor Blom will add more than 9,000 chips to his stack. Only a small dent in Felix Schulze's stack. Let's check in on some other German players in the tournament, including London High Roller winner Phil Gruson.
He's also got a ton of other six-figure scores, including a deep run at the main event, the World Series in 2011.
Jens Weigel started the day as a big stack, but seems to be bleeding chips right now.
Hey, it's Joey Pants.
He made the final table in Barcelona back in EPT 7.
And no, those flags aren't error. Giuseppe Pantaleo and Mario Puccini, obviously both super German.
And representing Team Pro, George Danza.
It's never easy.
It's never easy.
No, it is not. Just ask Katarina Schwiertz.
Facing an all-in from Vanessa Selbst.
Vanessa must be in the 1 seat, so she'll have ready access to that all-in triangle. She loves shoving more in the front row at a punk concert.
6-3 deuce flop with 2 hearts. Schwiertz gives it up.
I did not envy Schwiertz at all there, except for the fact that she's probably never had to pay for a drink in her whole life.
Vanessa Selbst adding 25,000 chips to her stack.
I'm legitimately in awe of Vanessa Selbst's style. I mean, she doesn't even eat. She just shoves on her food until the nutrients fold into her stomach.
Vanessa not currently in the tournament top 10. Let's check out the latest leaderboard. Vladimir Geshkenbein still out in front, but Joe Cengiz is moving back up.
He's my favorite Turkish roller coaster.
And the highest ranked German player is Mario Puccini, who's 5th in chips overall.
Our chip leader is involved in a hand here, James.
No kidding. Jan Heitman is the opponent. Geshkenbein has checked to Jan on the flop.
Let's see if Jan wants to keep betting into the chip leader. Not always a sound decision in my experience, though I should note my experience is a $5 home game.
2,800 is the bet from Heitman. Geshkenbein makes a quick call. Five of clubs on the turn. Geshkenbein checks again. Heitman checks behind.
Very tricky.
10 of hearts on the river.
Kind of a brick for this board.
Geshkenbein checks a 3rd time. Jan decides not to bet.
Geshkenbein shows Geshken 9s.
And Jan Heitman will muck. Ship the pot to Geshkenbein. More chips for the chip leader, please.
Isn't it funny how it always works out that way?
I love winning, like everybody. Probably even more than everybody. Yeah, my style of play is risky, aggressive. I try to push the edge, even if it means that I have to do risky plays. I'm not afraid of bubbling or getting out. If I think a play is plus EV, I'm gonna do it. Well, last year's Snowfest was my first EPT win. That was amazing. I played a lot of EPTs until there, and I only min-cashed or didn't cash at all, and then boom, and I just go the whole way through and just crush everything and get first. It was amazing. Poker has given me a lot, of course. I appreciate that, but still I don't want to devote my life just to it. In poker, you mostly take people's money away and destroy their bankroll, but I actually like to create something, so I decided to start studying civil engineering. Because you create something yourself, you plan it, you design it, you see it being built. There's a lot of buildings I like. I like going to the extremes, the biggest one, the tallest one. I started studying, so I didn't have that much time. But for the past few weeks I had a vacation, so I decided to hit it up again and gamble. To win the EPT would be double amazing. Winning 2 EPTs, I don't think anybody's done that before.
He knows that civil engineering has nothing to do with building a stack, a pot, or a bankroll, right? I actually legit respect it when any of these guys say they're going back to school. Well done. All right, well, yeah, story checks out.
Back to the main feature table. The more I look at him, the more Thomas Meltzer looks like a bearded George Danza.
Hopefully it's not the same guy. We could have a problem on our hands.
Action folded to Felix Schulze. He passes. Dan Murario. Also muck. Offerstrom and Nuttalainen get out of the way. Elliott Smith has just joined the feature table. He's not going to play this hand. Viktor Blom picks up 4-5 offsuit on the button.
Unopened, in position, blah, blah, blah. You guys get it at this point, right?
He makes it 2,500. Ace-king for Milkovic.
Milkovic just can't stay out of the way of the big boys. It's like watching two people play Tron.
Counting out a 3-bet.
You're definitely going to want to 3-bet Viktor in this spot. He's going to call with a lot of hands in position. Not sure he'll call with this one.
Milkovic is re-raised to 7,700. Alex Kell folds the big blind. It's back on Viktor.
Calling here would be awfully hood.
Of course Viktor's calling. He'll see a flop.
Let's face it, Viktor Blom is awfully hood.
Well, the flop is Jack 10-3 with 2 hearts. Nothing for Viktor. Ace high still good for Milkovic.
You absolutely have to c-bet this flop.
And he does. 8,500. Viktor quickly folds.
Makes perfect sense. That flop missed Viktor, and it's going to be all over the small blind 3-betting range. I don't care, though. Viktor Blom is still super hood.
This year got off to a great start for Viktor. He established himself as a tournament player to be feared, taking down that super high roller event at the PCA. Just how hood is he, Joe?
If Viktor Blom were any more hood, he'd have to go on the front of a car. If Viktor Blom were any more hood, he'd be carrying a basket through the woods to his grandmother's house. If Viktor Blom were any more hood, he would commonly follow the word neighbor. I don't know, dude, I'm so tired.
Coffee for Stapleton.
I'm gonna make it.
On the outer tables, David ElkY has seen a flop in position against Jordi Corrons and Jake Cody. ElkY bets 11,300.
A lot of times a bet in this spot will be enough to take it down. 1 down, 2 down.
Ship it.
Yes.
David ElkY wins that pot by the power of Grayskull. Sorry, I meant the power of position.
Continues to build a big stack, still among the tournament chip leaders, as is Cengiz Aluzu, involved in a hand against Ana Marquez. On the turn, Aluzu bets 7,600.
Aluzu is kind of a wild card. Beware pickpockets and loose poker players.
Ana makes the call.
We know Aluzu calls a lot, but we haven't really seen him bet much with nothing.
I think he's got his favorite hand, Joe, Jack 8.
It's a distinct possibility. He's quickly reaching for chips. If I were gonna make a read on his body language, I'd say he likes his hand.
8,000. Ana seems to have a decision.
We don't know if she knows much about his style.
She makes the call, showdown, which means you have to show your hands. Queen 7 for Aluzu. Ana Marquez wins the pot with ace queen.
I think he did like his hand. He just didn't know it wasn't the best hand. Nice call, Ana Marquez.
She's on the way up, and Aluzu is on the way down again. If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com, where there are qualifiers every day. This is the PokerStars.com EPT Berlin. In the heart of this season's most successful nation. Still a huge number of Germans left in the field, and on the feature table, 2 of them have been pretty active. The first is Bobby Milkovic, who's raised to 2,600 with ace-jack of hearts. The second is Felix Schulze, who has ace-queen of diamonds in the small blind.
Schulze's got Milkovic dominated. Ace-queen suited is almost always a 3-bet from the small blind. By the way, Felix, I loved you in the Mission Impossible movies.
5,800. Jack-King suited for Dan Murariu.
Pretty, but you can't really get involved with it at this point.
He dumps it, so it's back on Milkovic.
Schulze getting involved in some risky business. Milkovic probably can't fold this in position. Big suited aces are just so strong.
He makes the call. I wish I could go along with you on the whole Tom Cruise thing, but I just don't see it.
Cough tell.
Ace, king, king.
You're gonna be getting a lot more Tom Cruise jokes, James, sorry. Schulze gives up the lead. Your hand is so strong, but you don't want to get blown off of it.
He checks. Milkovic checks behind.
Little pot control for both of them.
9 of hearts on the turn.
Schulze may feel a little more confident now that Milkovic checked behind. You don't think he looks like Tom Cruise?
No.
Get out of here.
6,100.
Milkovic probably can't and shouldn't fold for just one bet, even though we know he's beat.
He does call.
He is drawing dead for an outright win.
The 4 on the river. So aces and kings with a queen kicker are in front.
The 4 completes a potential flush draw, but that's not too likely on this board, especially the way it's played out.
14-7.
Schulze bets 14,700.
Tom Cruise over here on a highway to the value zone. Certainly can't fault Milkovic for paying off here, but if you think about it, he can't really beat any value hands.
Check, check.
Work it out. You can do it. Oh yeah, War of the Worlds sucked.
That we can agree on.
Ich glaube, ich mache einen guten Leder und ich weiß es nicht.
Agreed.
What did he say?
He said, I can't beat any value hands. Also, Stapes owns. FWIW, I think both guys played this hand very well.
Well, Schulze has just added 15K to his stack and is now sitting pretty on 135,000 in chips.
My name is Felix Schulze. I'm from Germany, from Berlin. So it's the home game for me, more or less. I think Berlin is a very, very nice city. You can go to make some sports, you can go to party like every party you want. If you want electro, hip-hop, house, whatever. You can go to every kind of museum. You can do everything in Berlin. I think a lot of German players want to play good right now because of Pius Heinz, because he won the main event in Las Vegas. So every German wants to be like him. So a lot of players play more, and kind of normal that the German will win some more than last year. I played last year EPT Berlin. I also was on the feature table. It's a very, very great experience. Of course, the money is like hilarious. I finished 16th place. I busted out for 1.1 million pot with Ace-King versus Queen's pre-flop all-in. Flop came like 2-4-5, blank, blank, and it was done. I started the day, came too late, and they told me, you have to go to the feature table. Okay, it wasn't my first feature table, so I wasn't that nervous. But then I saw like Isildur, ElkY, and 2 other pretty good players. I thought it would be much tougher, but at the end, ElkY did bust pretty fast. He made a little blow up, I would say. I think the EPT is a very good tour because it's a very deep tournament. So it's 30,000 chips and 1 hour's level, so you can relax and get your table, get reads for your opponents, and it's very, very smooth.
After all that, he actually seems like a really sweet kid. I don't even want to make fun of him, but seriously though, loved you in Cocktail.
Let's head out to the secondary feature table. Vladimir Geshkenbein involved in a hand against Rhys Jones again. Remember last time Jones took it down. Geshkenbein has bet the flop, 5,000.
That's the kind of board that hits everybody's ranges. Wow, what a look. Double look.
Rhys Jones makes the call. We go to the turn.
Be careful dropping your chips in like that. Don't want to put in a whole stack.
Pretty inconsequential looking 3 of diamonds.
Couldn't have possibly changed anything. Geshkenbein's put the brakes on.
He checks.
Now it looks like Jones is going to bet at this.
There's 20,600 in the middle. Jones bets 12,300.
Pretty sure he just looked at the monkey for advice. The monkey said, check your cards and call.
So we go to the river.
The monkey is very wise.
Jones has roughly a pot-sized bet behind. 10 of diamonds on the river. Geshkenbein checks again. Jones moves all in. Geshkenbein snap calls.
Uh-oh.
Ace 10 for Jones. Queen 9 for the nut straight for Geshkenbein.
Flopped it. Sometimes the unluckiest river is the one you think is lucky. Very well played by Geshkenbein with a little help from the river to give Jones a very costly second best hand.
Geshkenbein may have just won that pot, but he's second in chips right now behind Cengiz Aluzu. And we may have just lost Rhys Jones, but Paul Vaz Nunes and Mark Wright are flying the flag for the UK. Belgium's Davide Katai also among the big stacks, third in chips overall. Will Molson has checked to him on the turn.
Kid's got some great looks. I think that one's blue steel.
Katai checks behind. 3 of spades on the river.
That 3 keeps things nice and interesting and low.
Molson checks.
Not much in this pot anyways.
Katai also checks and will table 8-10 of hearts. And Molson will win the pot with ace high.
See, even the big boys check it down sometimes. And that look, Magnum.
Blinds up to 800, 1600 with a 200 ante. Back to the main feature table. Viktor Blom. 6-7 suited.
Viktor Blom, you old scalawag. Do you ever fold?
Raises from under the gun to 3,300.
A little loose under the gun.
Action folded around to Felix Schulze. 3-5 of hearts.
Well, now it looks like Schulze is the one who's going to get a little hood.
He elects to call from the hijack. Queen 10 for Murariu goes into the muck. Offerstrom folds the button. Juttalainen gives up the small blind. Elliott Smith with Queen 8 suited in the big blind.
Smith getting some ridiculous pot odds, and also this is his only shot at getting some TV time.
He makes the call, and we go 3-way to the flop. Which hits nobody.
Schulze flops a wheel draw, and he hit the flop the hardest. At the moment, he's behind to Victor's 7 high and Smith's queen high.
Smith has checked to Victor, and he continues for 6.5K.
Don't see why he shouldn't continue here. He's going to win the hand most of the time.
Schulze calls.
The float here is totally standard.
Smith has folded, so it heads up to the turn. Ace of diamonds.
Victor picks up a flush draw and more equity in the hand.
25,500 in the middle. Victor will bet 16,600.
A float here would not be standard. You've got 5 high and a draw that could have dirty outs or already be drawing dead. This is usually a fold. Oh no, Victor looked at him. He's got a couple of live tells.
Schulze will call.
This is either simply a great read or Schulze is hoping on the river Victor will give up and check fold anything but an ace.
The river is the 2 of hearts, so both players playing the board.
Did you order the code red? Victor whiffed completely.
He checks.
Let's see if Schulze follows through on this double float. It is likely to work.
Wow. He bets 24,000. And Victor folds.
I don't think Viktor did anything wrong there at all. This guy, on the other hand, might be the last samurai. Really well done. Either Schulze is a genius or Viktor really needs to start working on those live tells.
So Schulze takes down an 83k pot, courtesy of a big bluff against Blom. What do you think of that one? Join the conversation. Tweet using the hashtag EPTBerlin. Welcome back to the PokerStars.com EPT Berlin at the Grand Hyatt, hosted by the Spielbank Berlin. Before the break, Viktor Isildur Blom and local boy Felix Schulze clashed again. So what was going through Felix's mind when he faced the super aggressive Blom in that hand?
The action starts. Isildur is under the gun. He opens like pretty standard 2.1. I flat call in middle position with 5-3 of hearts. Another guy, he also calls, I think in cutoff. We go to the flop. Flop is ace deuce 9 with 1 diamond. Isildur pretty standard c-bets. Now I'm thinking he's a very, very aggressive player. He plays like mostly every hand. So I decided to call the flop because I obviously got my gut shot and maybe I can float him and see what happens next. The other guy folds, so we go heads up to the turn. Turn is another ace, ace of diamonds, so there's a flush draw also. The pot is like 22k I think, and now he's betting 16.6k.
Viktor bets.
Pretty big bet. I'm thinking, what does he want to represent, because I really didn't give him the ace, so I decide to call and see what happens next on the river. If he's checking, I maybe can take the pot, something like that. On the river comes another deuce, so there's ace, ace, deuce, deuce, 9, and now he's checking, and I'm pretty sure that he won't call if I'll bet like half of pot, because I pretty like all the time got the ace, because I pre-flop call him on the flop on the turn, so I bet like half of pot, and he snap folds. Pretty easy.
Pretty easy. Let's hashtag that feature, humble brag. Time to sweat with Felix, especially because I'd love to know how he got those abs in such good shape for Rock of Ages.
We're only going to see Felix Schulze's whole cards. Action's being folded around the table. Felix is on the button. And he will be first in with ace 6 offsuit.
Auto raise on the button.
Makes it 3,500. Dan Murariu in the small blind.
All right, this guy hasn't played a hand since EPT 6, so if he plays back at us, I think it's pretty safe for us to get the heck out of here.
The Romanian will 3-bet to 8,800. Well, this drum gives up the big blind. It's back on Schulze.
No shame in folding here. There's a chance Murariu is just playing against our super active image, but still, no.
How much you play total?
About 60.
Total? 60?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that answer reeked of confidence. All right, well, if Murariu was just playing against our image, this is one way to try to find out.
Schulze will 4-bet. 15,200.
Uh-oh.
All in.
Murariu shoves.
Okay, now this is definitely a fold.
Exact count, please.
Asking for a count is a bad sign. Sure, we can withstand the hit, but don't think about it that way. Even against Murariu's OMG, please don't call me range, we're doing okay to not very good. So many aces are beating us, and even if we're slightly ahead, that's a pretty big flip. We're almost never going to have him in bad shape. Also, we're not getting very good odds either, not even 2-1. Foldsville, fold it. Fold it, Reno.
I don't believe you.
Listen to me, Smalls, fold. Nostril flare, though I have no idea what that means.
He's giving it serious consideration. He calls!
And
He's ahead.
We're ahead by a whopping 4%. Yay.
Murario can't believe he got called. The rest of the table's in shock as well.
Schulze seems fine with it.
Well, the flop gives Schulze the nut flush draw, taking away 2 of Murario's outs.
Well, we paired our 6, which really doesn't mean much. Murario still wins with a king or a jack, except now they can't be a club.
The turn. Here's another club. Murario's drawing dead. He's out of here.
It's a pretty brutal way to go.
How did he make that call?
Kid made a very loose call, but it worked out for him. He's a regular Rain Man.
It was like the 4-bet bluff and call. It's really interesting.
Nice hand, Felix.
Thanks. This chip graph looks like Tom Cruise's box office receipts from the 90s. That last hand, Jerry Maguire. Who's coming with me?
There's only one person who isn't. Dan Murario.
Well, he's not the only one who is forced to find the exit this level. Poker can be a harsh game with harsh consequences. Let's see who else will be watching the action from the rail. Spanish pro Juan Manuel Pastor won't be visiting the cashier's window anytime soon. Busted. Baby-faced hottie Matthias de Moller won't be raising this year's Berlin Trophy on the front cover of Tiger Beat. Busted. Jonas Gutek will see the final table on television. Busted. Lucien Cohen, also busted.
Wow, with gold like that, we really stand a shot at a BAFTA this year.
For your consideration.
Action on the feature table has been folded around to Viktor Blom. 3-5 offsuit goes in the muck. 6-5 offsuit for Bobby Milkovic.
Raise.
He's got the button. And he makes it 3,500 total. Alex Kell with the decision in the small blind. Queen 10 of diamonds.
I think this is a definite 3-bet, very strong against Milkovic's button raising range, certainly ahead of his actual hand.
That's a total of 8,500.
This poor guy, no TV time at all. Can we at least name check him again?
Thomas Meltzer.
Nice fold, Meltzer.
A 4-bet from Milkovic, 18.5K.
I think we've got a little case of button clicking going on here.
Ooh. Oh, and a little case of angle shooting.
He's just trying to get a read. No forward motion. I will say I'd like to charge this man with attempted button clicking.
Kell folds the best hand. Milkovic wins a decent-sized pot with just 6 high.
Gets away with one there. Poor Alex Kell. It's been the Milkovic and Schulze show at this feature table.
On the outer tables, we've got a friendly fire battle between Vanessa Selbst and Barry Greenstein. Barry all in with ace-king. Vanessa Selbst with 8s. It's a flip.
These two racing in real life might be the most awkward thing I've ever seen.
Barry flops a gut shot. The turn is an ace. Barry takes the lead.
Ugly turn for Vanessa.
No 8 on the river. Barry makes a straight instead.
Barry gets there both ways. Overkill.
So Vanessa Selbst doubles up Barry Greenstein.
Looks like she had plenty of chips to spare. Ironically, this board was also the title of Barry's new book, Ace on the Turn, Jack on the River, I also made a straight. It's not selling as well.
Let's catch up with another female player, Anna Marquez.
I tried to catch up with Anna in the hallway. Instead, her boyfriend caught up with me.
I swear, like, half the people knocked out till now in the tournament are from our table.
Anna clearly sitting on the table of death. Back to our feature table. Action will be on Jana Juttalainen. He folds. 9-3 suited for Elliott Smith. That goes in the muck. Pocket 10s for Viktor Blom.
Viktor Blom's finally got a hand. He's fairly likely to get some action with it.
He raises to 3,300. Bobby Milkovic also has a pair. Pocket 6s.
Definitely a strong hand against Viktor's range.
Call.
He makes the call. Keller's folded. Meltzer gets out the way. Schulze in the small blind has a7. Not going to play it.
Better than a6. I wonder why he didn't go all in.
And Opferstrom gives up the big blinds. Here we go, heads up to the flop. Jack, Jack 4 with 2 diamonds.
Pretty good flop for 2 10s.
Viktor checks.
Giving up the lead, maybe for a little pot control. Don't want to get blown off a hand this strong.
Milkovic bets, 3.5K.
I think he has to bet against Viktor's range for sure.
Viktor calls.
Milkovic can't like being called there.
King of spades on the turn.
Neither player can really like this card.
Viktor checks a second time. And Milkovic checks behind. 7 of hearts on the river.
The way Milkovic has played this hand, Viktor probably thinks it's safe to bet for value.
He will bet. 8,600.
This is a tough spot against Isildur. If he was raising with his usual cheese, there's a decent shot. 6s would be good here. Viktor's rep hurt him against Schulze, but it's looking like it might help him here.
Milkovic calls. Blom shows the best hand.
I had also pocket pair.
Cool story, bro.
Auch ein pocket pair, das gibt's doch nicht, ey.
Blom adding more than 19K to his stack, moves up above the 100,000 mark as we reach the halfway point on day 2. But hang on a second, what's happening on our second feature table? A 3-way all-in. Geshkenbein with the best hand in a position to win a massive pot and knock out 2 opponents.
He's the favorite, but there's a lot that can go wrong here. He's only going to win this pot a little over half the time.
What a flop, 8, 9, 10.
Pitino and Huxley both flop straight draws, but both hold blockers for the other.
Much better than pre-flop.
Huxley needs a jack or an ace. Vitkin needs a queen or a 7.
Brick.
Geshkenbein 71% favorite now. The river, another brick, a double elimination.
Kings hold.
Geshkenbein just adds nearly 140,000 chips to his stack.
Yeah, runaway chip leader.
He said his ambition was to have 1 million chips by the end of the day. He's almost halfway there. And yes, he's the runaway chip leader halfway through day 2 of EPT Berlin. Davide Katai still up there in the top 5. Cengiz Aluzu is moving down the leaderboard, and Vanessa Selps has just creeped in, 10th in chips overall. Next time, the bubble looms with no fewer than 5 previous EPT champs still in the hunt.
Winning a major event is an amazing feeling.
Spanish siren Ana Marquez wants to join the ranks of EPT champions. Will Berlin be her crowning achievement? But right now, it's all about making the money and avoiding that dreaded bubble.
Come on.
Who has what it takes to go all the way?